This is Patrick Cross Sr. He's a 75-year-old pastor with the task of building a football program at a one-star university. Can a pastor with literally no football knowledge or experience get the job done? I mean, anything is possible, but if you stick around, we can find out together. This story begins in Crossville, Louisiana, a small college town named after Patrick's grandfather, Reverend Kilroy Cross, who was known as a mentor, educator, and visionary. He founded Bayou State University in 1920 as an institution for religious studies to help educate young people in his community. And in present day, it's regarded as one of the best universities in the country, with the legendary alumni full of lawyers, doctors, ministers, and business figures. But notice how I didn't mention anything about athletes. This was strictly an academic-only university. Sports have been a no-show in Crossville for the last 66 years. In 2021, BSU announced that they would be bringing a football team to Crossville in the 2024-25 season, also adding a fully renovated football field and many new facilities on campus. They would be joining the Sun Belt Conference along with Crescent City University, which leads us back to Patrick Cross Sr., who was actually the president of Bayou State, carrying the Cross legacy 104 years later. His son PJ is the newly appointed athletic director that knows absolutely nothing about sports. All he knows is Newport 100s and the Bible. PJ's only son, Percival Poochie Cross, will be the head coach of BSU's football team at just 31 years old. Poochie is seen as the black sheep of the family due to his rebellious ways. He was sentenced to 5 years in 2016 after attacking an off-duty police officer with a slingshot after being caught contaminating food at a local Golden Corral. He was released in 2021 and has been living on the streets ever since. Homeless with nowhere to go, Poochie began tap dancing under the bridge for large crowds. Poochie did play football in high school, so he does know a little bit about the game, so that's why he was hired. Since the Poochster is a very charming and articulate young lad, he's gonna have the recruiter backstory. Here is a first look at Poochie in game. Brody looks like Black Dynamite, but this might be the best that we can do. By the way, both the playbooks and the pipeline were changed off screen, so please don't pay any attention to those. Here are some of Poochie's character traits so you guys can better understand him as a coach. So as you can see, this should be a very interesting rebuild. He has a 3-year contract with BSU, so let's get that signed. And it's official. Here in year 1, we have an absolute monstrosity of a roster, full of human waste. But we do have a few players that can be real deal contributors, like Corey Ellis, who just transferred here from the University of Georgia. He went through a little legal situation with a girlfriend, couple arrests his freshman year. Georgia obviously had enough of his foolishness and kicked him off the team. Nobody else would give him a chance, but here at BSU, we welcome him with open arms. Same can be said for Juice Jones, who transferred here from our bitter rival, North Mississippi State, after allegedly having relations with one of the cafeteria ladies for an extra carton of strawberry milk. We can't judge these young brothers for their actions now, because they need all the help that they can get. Juice was able to convince his little cousin O'Neal Harrell to commit to BSU. O'Neal is the highest recruit in school history at this point in time, which means absolutely jack shit. There are other notable players like Cannon Stark, a senior quarterback, who is listed at a measly 5'5". Wide receivers KJ Scott and Spencer James, 5'11" running back Macklin Truck, and our 5'7", 320-pound kicker Joe Licker. As you guys can see, we are doomed. The goal for this team is to, of course, win a championship, but also become a powerhouse in a small conference. For the next few weeks, Poochie worked relentlessly with his staff to come up with strategies for the team. Everybody was excited. BSU sports were back, and the first game against Troy was right around the corner, and it was Troy that had home field advantage. Poochie talked himself to sleep in his parents' basement. "Man, we gonna put belt the ass on Troy," said Poochie. He didn't care about the odds that were set against him. He knew his team was coming home with a win. The first game of the season was finally here. Everyone was locked in, and Troy got the ball first. Then Joe Licker decided to kick things off with a preposterous kick that got BSU a flag literally in the first seconds of play. By that point, Troy had them figured out. They knew BSU was ass, and that would give Troy's quarterback all the momentum in the world to throw a beautiful pass to an open receiver for an easy touchdown. I don't know if Corey Ellis was staring at Ash Cash in the stands or if he was zoned out off of Perk 30. Right off the bat, Poochie knew they were doomed after he seen how slow his kick returner was. This was gonna be a long season. The small but mighty Kanan Stark was orchestrating this offense, settling for a pass to a mediocre Spencer James, and yeah, he's definitely gonna be feeling that one in the morning. Nothing to see here, folks. It's just Kanan Stark getting stuffed with sacks. On 3rd and 8, Troy's quarterback slings it to an open tight end for a huge gain and a first down, as it took forever for BSU's defense to tackle him. Surprisingly, Troy's offense wasn't able to turn it into an easy touchdown, and on 3rd and 8, O'Neal Harrell swatted a pass attempt down, forcing Troy to kick a field goal. Down by 10, Kanan Stark tried for a short pass to Macklin Truck, and yeah, that had absolutely no chance. But don't worry, BSU fans, here's another sack for you, making it 4th and 15 for the Vultures. Back on defense, it was 3rd and 7, and Troy's quarterback delivered another touchdown pass to an open receiver. And he's basically telling them that it's time for night-night. I don't know how y'all took that, but Poochie was really thinking about smoking that boy after the game. Don't worry though, another touchdown was in the air for Troy, while BSU's defense just stood there lifeless with nowhere to go. And number 6 did the Foden walk in the end zone. And oh look, another sack. Wow, that's new. To make matters much worse, Drew Brees, aka Troy's quarterback, threw a laser to the same receiver he been throwing it to the whole game. And he scored without a fucking scratch on his head, bruh. How? Then this man proceeded to tell him it was time to go to sleep again. Poochie was really finna oodle his noodle. But through the grace of God, they were finally able to put up a touchdown in sim. But it was way too late for a comeback, and they went out sad, getting their first loss to start off the season. Troy just did everything in their power to make them feel less than men. Zariah Beeson was the name that tarnished their legacy. But it wasn't nearly close to what would happen the next game. BSU would be facing the South Carolina Gamecocks at their home stadium. And I'm pretty sure you know how that went. South Carolina came out blazing, running the ball on BSU's weak defense, gaining yards like crazy. Their QB threw a wonky pass that actually resulted in a touchdown. And that was all she wrote after that. BSU suffered their second loss, scored 52-3, killing the whole confidence of the team. After 2 back-to-back losses, it was a real morale killer for the team. All week he had been planning with the coaches and the team and wanted to win their first home game. He drank a nice cup of Red Bull and had a Slim Jim for breakfast and headed out the door. He loaded up his gym bag full of FUBU sweaters in his Chrysler 300 and headed right to the school so he could mentally prepare for the game later that day. It was the first home game in 66 years, and it was damn near a sold-out crowd against Tulane and their star running back, Mekhi Hughes, who came out blazing past the defense for a huge game. And shortly after, Hughes would rush in for a touchdown on 1st and goal, putting the first points up on the board. Poochie and the gang knew this was about to be a long game. Macklin Truck would get the run game started on BSU's opening drive, and things was looking promising. Remember, Kanan Stark is only 5'5", and he's their starting quarterback, so expect to see a lot of plays like that. Their punter is so trash. Just look how he just gave Tulane ideal field position. That was enough for Mekhi Hughes to zoom past their defense again, putting 6 more on the board. Down by 14. With 2 minutes and some change left in the first quarter, BSU's run game is looking like it's not gonna work. So Poochie told Kanan to go in launch pad mode. And on 2nd and 12, Kanan throws a absolute dart to Desmond Ivey, leaving Tulane's defense in the dust, getting BSU their first touchdown of the game and the first one ever seen on screen. They were finally getting somewhere. They were only down by 7 with hella motivation after a touchdown. And on 3rd and 6, Kareem Culver came up with a clutch interception, giving the team hope to tie up the game before the second quarter. Was this all they needed to gain momentum to start winning games? The crowd went absolutely wild. And exactly on 1st and 10, Tulane's defense absolutely clobbered Macklin Truck, leaving him injured, which was a huge blow to their offense. Timeout was definitely needed to regroup. The passing game seemed to be working. KJ Scott absolutely cooked his defender, leaving enough space for Kanan to deliver a perfect pass, making it 1st and goal. BSU struggled to run the ball in for a touchdown, so on 4th and goal, they went for it, and it paid off with Joshua Cook scoring a touchdown. Now it's tied game. Tulane went back to old reliable, making a fool of BSU's bone-chilling defense. Look how they all fell over for absolutely no reason, leaving a clear path for Mekhi Hughes to score his 3rd touchdown of the game in the first quarter. At least KJ Scott seemed to be having a nice game. That's cool. And the fans were happy. Down by 1 score, no biggie. Kanan was having a pretty good game as well, throwing another touchdown pass to Macklin Truck. What a comeback. Tie game. Poochie vowed to bring a win to BSU in their opening home game. It's been 66 years and they needed to give the fans something to cheer for. And then Tulane's receiver absolutely cooked Cariella's, leaving him wide asshole open for a goddamn touchdown. A minute left in the second quarter and they were only down by 7. Kanan couldn't find anyone open, so he took matters into his own hands, quickly scrambling past the defense, getting tackled into a touchdown, hitting a Heisman pose for the hoes, I guess. The fans were entertained. All the way in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes to go, and the score was still tied, and BSU wasn't letting Tulane get anything easy, so they had to settle for a field goal to up the score. On 1st and 10, Kanan was feeling confident, scrambling past the defense with his top-notch speed, throwing up a prayer that would end up getting intercepted, which was a real morale killer for Kanan and the team as a whole. But it was time still on the clock. They had to fight to stay in this thing, keep it alive, until Tulane's quarterback delivered a beautiful short pass to the receiver, swiftly creeping past their defense, taking it in for 6. I mean, nah, it's okay. They still got a little bit of time. Maybe it's still a chance. Okay, maybe it's not. They were doomed. BSU couldn't give their home crowd a win against Tulane, but the next game on their schedule, they was gonna have to win that one. That game was going to be a piece of cake. 4th game of the season. BSU was feeling good. It was another home game, and it was no way in hell they were going to lose to an FCS team. Then immediately after, Kanan threw up a pointless pick that would put 6 points on the board for the Pandas. God damn you, Drewski. These niggas was real. Might not be as easy of a win as they thought it would be, but that's okay though. Kanan was able to keep the ball moving on the field next time around, putting them on 1st and goal, which was easy scramble territory for the schmedium Stark, taking it in for 6. Game on, Pandas. They were not going down without a fight. I'm gonna win me at least one of them, said Poochie. He knew his job security was looking grim, especially after the next game that was on the schedule. But like my stepmom, I'll get into that later. On 3rd and 4, BSU ran a halfback screen to the right side of the field, picking up an easy 1st down, moving them even closer to the end zone, which was perfect timing for Kanan Stark to throw up a absolute prayer to KJ Scott for a touchdown in spectacular fashion. BSU up 14-7. Their defense was solid enough to stop the Pandas from scoring, and the team was in a groove. So on 2nd and 20, Kanan threw up another huge prayer to the absolutely human garbage Spencer James for a touchdown. Enjoy your shine, buddy-o, cause you ain't got that long. Up 2 scores with great field position in the 3rd quarter, Kanan scrambled past the defense looking for an open candidate, and boom, he finds Macklin Truck wide open, speeding into the end zone, taking it in for 6. Yep, this one was sealed. BSU's first victory of the season. Gotta just make it past the 4th quarter, and they good. It was 4th and 15. BSU couldn't make a play, so they decided to settle for a field goal. And for any normal kicker, that's an easy 3 points. But this is Joe Licker that we are talking about here. Not only did he miss the kick, but this man kicked it directly to the Pandas. Nobody from BSU could catch this dude. He was... This nigga was gone. Resulting in a wide open touchdown for the Pandas, cutting into the lead the Vultures was so desperately trying to build. And then it was all downhill from there. They couldn't make anything shake on offense, so it was up to the defense to try to keep them in this game. On 4th and 4, the Pandas QB couldn't find any options open because BSU had that locked down. So he decided to take it into the end zone where he went untouched, and they would be 1 score away from being tied with the Vultures. BSU was on ice. They couldn't get anything going, so Kanan went back to his usual ways of getting sacked. That gave the Pandas a great chance to score again, which they easily did. Now the Pandas were up by 1 point because Joe Licker missed a 1-point field goal earlier in the game, but it was 1 minute and 46 seconds left. Still a lot of time to save themselves. In fear of being sacked for the 8th time this game, Kanan threw up a horrible bullet pass that would get picked off by the Pandas defense. Hey, don't worry guys, no one is gonna catch him. He is out of there. Easy pick 6 for the Pandas, all thanks to Dalen Berry and BSU's horrendous quarterback. And just like that, the Vultures would lose once again at home, 35-27, suffering their 4th loss of the season. This was one of the most personal games on the schedule. The 3rd-ranked North Mississippi State Mad Dogs, BSU's arch rivals, even before they had a sports team. Their founders absolutely hated each other. Let me explain. Kilroy Cross grew up with a man named Sylvester Perry. They were best friends until Perry became envious of Cross after he became a legendary figure in their community. He felt like Kilroy didn't deserve it. If anything, he should have been the one getting all the praise. For doing what exactly? Well, on paper, he did absolutely nothing to be mentioned in the same breath as Kilroy. He was arrested multiple times for selling moonshine, public nudity, fraud. He was just flat out jealous that someone he grew up with was getting more recognition than him. After Kilroy founded Bayou State, Sylvester decided to move to Northland, Mississippi, started a successful business, and actually started his own university to kinda one-up his old friend, which would turn out to be North Mississippi State. Sylvester was really the one that didn't really like Kilroy. Kilroy was just kinda hurt and confused. That led to both schools not liking each other, even when BSU had sports back in the day. 66 years later, and that beef is still cooking. But to speed things up, North Mississippi became a football powerhouse in the late 90s and has had numerous pro players. And still to this day, they have a very successful D1 football program. The stadium was rocking and their confidence was shook. There was no way in Sam hell Bayou State was winning this game. On their opening drive, coach wanted them to try to get things started with the run game, and Tyson Collins Jr. was able to pick up a first down. Okay, things look stable. 1st and 10, Kanan looking for an open man. He literally could have passed it to Tyson Collins, but he decided to take a sack to the face from North Mississippi star linebacker Jarius Bolden. Don't worry, Kanan, it's plenty of sacks for you to take this game. You're not escaping anything from this top tier team. Their punter is literally a terrible player and human being, but who's to say that doesn't come in handy sometimes? Some way, by the grace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, BSU got the ball back, giving them another chance at life and to put a score on the board. 1st and 10, and it seems like Little Kanan forgot he was supposed to run the ball on this play. He looked very confused. Couple plays later, this little doofus lost his composure and his mind scrambling in, and he got sacked, causing a fumble, giving the ball right back to North Miss. And it also caused Jarius Bolden to get injured. That was good news. If we could have 30 more players suffer the same fate, they might actually have a shot at winning this game. BSU was able to score off camera, but on 2nd and goal, North Miss would run the ball in with their star running back, Walter Hughes, putting 6 on the board. Look how he just pushed past their defense. The crowd went absolutely crazy. They knew this wasn't going to be the last time their home team was going to score. Little Kanan would take another sack. Tyson Collins got clobbered and caused a fumble. Walter Hughes rushed in for another touchdown, and BSU fans were cheering. Kanan was absolutely distraught the rest of the game and threw 2 picks. By the 4th quarter, the score was all the way out of control. The North Miss fans seen it coming a mile away as they laughed and taunted BSU players. BSU lost their 5th game in a row, 57-7. This was really bad. Was Poochie's job in jeopardy? We'll find out. We all know Kanan won't take us anywhere near where we need to be. But maybe, just maybe, this country boy from Arkansas can.